What's up, pop culture enthusiasts and armies around the world? Welcome back to another mind-blowing episode of our Top List Edutainment series. The year is 2026, and the legendary K-pop titans BTS have not only conquered the globe, but have amassed fortunes that rival actual empires. We all know they started from a small, struggling agency, but today, they are literally swimming in unimaginable wealth. But here is the ultimate question. After massive solo stadium tours, historic luxury brand deals, brilliant real estate investments, and genius stock market plays, who among the seven holds the crown as the absolute wealthiest member today? Who secretly spent their time building a financial dynasty? Is it the Golden Machine, the underground genius producers, or the worldwide handsome ambassador? Brace yourselves, because the gap in their net worths will leave your jaw on the floor, and our number one spot is literally crazy rich with assets you won't even believe. Are you ready to peek behind the curtain into the royal bank accounts of the biggest music icons in history? Number 7. Jimin, the face of luxury, the prince of royalties, unveiling the Dior Dynamo. Kicking off our mind-blowing 2026 wealth ranking at the number 7 spot is none other than our beloved Busan Prince, the captivating main dancer and the mesmerizing lead vocalist, Park Jimin. Now, hold on a second. Before you grab your pitchforks and storm the comment section screaming, "How on earth is Jimin only at number 7?" you need to understand the absolute sheer scale of the wealth we're dealing with on this list. The fact that an individual with a net worth sitting comfortably around the $35 million to $45 million mark in 2026 is at the bottom of our ranking should genuinely terrify you and give you goosebumps about what the top spots look like. But let's take a deeply emotional and reflective journey back to where this staggering empire began. Picture a young, ambitious boy from Busan, blessed with unparalleled contemporary dance skills, but plagued by crippling self-doubt and anxiety. Do you remember the stories from their pre-debut days? The heart-wrenching reality that Jimin was almost cut from the final BTS lineup not once, not twice, but a staggering 8 times. Imagine the intense psychological toll that takes on a teenager trying to find his place in a hyper-competitive industry. He wasn't born into staggering wealth, high society, or legacy connections. He was just a fiercely passionate kid who decided that failure was simply not an option. He slept for barely 2 hours a night, practicing his vocals and dance routines in tiny, humid, and empty studios until he literally collapsed from exhaustion on the cold wooden floor, shedding blood, sweat, and tears just to prove to the world and to himself that he deserved to hold that microphone. Fast forward to 2026, and that very same boy who was constantly afraid of being left behind is now an untouchable, undisputed king of the global music industry. Let's talk cold, hard facts and look closely at the brilliant financial architecture of Park Jimin's empire today. While his foundational wealth naturally stems from BTS's astronomical group activities, sold-out global stadium tours that grossed hundreds of millions of dollars, and record-breaking physical album sales that literally injected billions into the South Korean GDP, Jimin's individual financial strategy has been nothing short of a masterclass in brand building. In 2023, he completely shattered the glass ceiling with his solo debut album, Face, completely redefining what a K-pop soloist could achieve on the global stage. Do you remember the exact moment when Like Crazy made him the very first South Korean solo artist in the history of music to debut at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100? That wasn't just a monumental cultural victory, it was a massive financial tsunami that changed his life forever. The streaming royalties from Spotify and Apple Music, the physical album sales across the globe, and the digital downloads flooded into his bank accounts at an unprecedented rate. He expertly followed this explosive success with his critically acclaimed second project, Muse, proving his longevity and securing long-term publishing and performance royalties that flow in passively 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And let's not forget his legendary solo tracks under the BTS banner, like Filter, Lie, and Serendipity, which have accumulated hundreds of millions of streams, acting as a constant revenue-generating machine. But music is only one massive pillar of Jimin's formidable fortune. Let's pivot to the ruthless, high-stakes, and wildly lucrative world of global luxury fashion. When the legendary French fashion house Dior announced Park Jimin as their global brand ambassador, it wasn't just a simple PR stunt, it was a calculated multi-million-dollar business merger. Within merely days of the official announcement, Dior's stock prices absolutely skyrocketed to their highest levels in over 30 years, demonstrating the terrifying and unparalleled economic power of the Jimin effect. He didn't just stop at high-end clothing, he completely conquered the elite high jewelry sector by becoming the global face of Tiffany & Co. Every single time he stepped onto a red carpet or posted a meticulously curated photo on Instagram dripping in flawless diamonds, platinum rings, and custom-tailored suits, those exact items sold out globally within minutes, crashing websites and triggering massive multi-million-dollar endorsement renewal contracts that guarantee him a steady, jaw-dropping income most seasoned CEOs could only dream of. Furthermore, let's not ignore the massive wealth generated from his equity in Hybe. As one of the original shareholders who received early stock options from Bong Si-hyuk before the massive 2020 IPO, Jimin's stock portfolio has grown exponentially, giving him incredible leverage and financial security. And what exactly does a savvy, self-made idol do with all this unimaginable, overflowing cash? He invests it with razor-sharp precision. Jimin has meticulously built a formidable real estate portfolio, famously securing one of the most exclusive, heavily guarded, and prestigious properties in all of South Korea, the ultra-luxurious 9-1 Hanam complex. He famously purchased his massive multi-million-dollar unit completely in cold, hard cash, without taking out a single loan or mortgage, a financial flex so powerful it sent absolute shockwaves through the elite Korean real estate market. He has also been quietly acquiring other prime properties and heavily investing in global stock markets, ensuring his immense wealth continues to multiply effortlessly, even while he sleeps. But despite his crazy rich status and billionaire lifestyle access, Jimin remains incredibly grounded, consistently and quietly donating hundreds of thousands of dollars to education foundations, childhood cancer research centers, and developmental programs in his beloved hometown of Busan, proving time and time again that true wealth is also measured by the immense size of your heart and the legacy you leave behind. Yet, as you sit there trying desperately to comprehend the sheer mind-boggling magnitude of Park Jimin's estimated $45 million empire, the fleets of luxury cars, the cash-bought penthouses, the historic billboard records, the Dior campaigns, and the Hybe equity, you absolutely have to ask yourself one chilling, mind-bending question. If a global fashion icon, a luxury brand billionaire's ultimate muse, and a history-making billboard champion is only sitting at the very bottom of our list at number 7, what kind of unimaginable, astronomical, world-dominating fortunes are the remaining 6 members secretly hoarding? Who had the sheer genius and foresight to build stealthy business empires, write hundreds of highly copyrighted royalty-generating songs, or invest in massive tech startups that propelled their net worth even higher? Is your absolute favorite member next on the chopping block, or are they secretly ruling from the number 1 spot? Prepare yourselves, secure your seatbelts, and take a deep breath, because the financial gap is only going to get aggressively wider, the stakes are getting unbelievably higher, and the millions are rapidly turning into tens of millions as we brutally climb this glittering stairway of pure, unadulterated golden wealth.
Number 6. Jin, the worldwide handsome tycoon, the real estate mogul, the ruler of cash. Stepping onto the dazzling diamond-encrusted podium at number 6 is the eldest brother of the group, the undisputed visual king, and the man who single-handedly redefined the meaning of the word influence, Kim Suk-jin. Now, to truly comprehend the sheer, staggering magnitude of Jin's estimated $50 million empire in 2026, we have to rewind the clock and look at the emotional bedrock of his journey. Before the sold-out stadium tours, before the luxury global ambassadorships, and before he was dropping millions of dollars in cold hard cash on premium real estate, Suk-jin was just a young acting student at Konkok University who literally got street cast because he was simply too handsome to ignore. He wasn't trained as a singer or a dancer. He started from absolute scratch, fighting through excruciating criticism, endless vocal training sessions, and the massive, suffocating pressure of being the eldest anchor for 6 younger brothers in a completely unknown, struggling agency. Do you remember those early days when Jin would use his own modest allowance just to buy groceries and cook meals for the younger members who were living far away from their families? That deeply ingrained sense of responsibility, that quiet, unyielding determination to protect and provide for his team, completely translated into how he meticulously built his personal financial fortress. Fast forward to today, and the worldwide handsome star is a bona fide, ruthless business tycoon who operates with the precision of a Wall Street veteran. Let us start with his jaw-dropping real estate portfolio, because this is where Jin absolutely flexes his terrifying purchasing power. While most celebrities rely on massive bank loans and heavy mortgages to secure luxury homes, Jin plays a completely different game. He plays the game in pure, unadulterated cash. Over the years, he has systematically conquered Hanam the Hill, which is famously known as the most exclusive, heavily guarded, and obscenely expensive residential complex in all of South Korea. In 2018 and 2019, he snapped up 2 massive units there, and due to his sheer genius in timing the Seoul real estate market, those properties appreciated so violently that he netted a staggering, mind-bending profit of over 10 billion won. That's roughly 7.3 million US dollars, just sitting back and watching the market rise. But he didn't stop there. In 2025, he sent absolute shockwaves through the Korean economic sector when he casually purchased a third, mind-blowingly opulent apartment in Hanam the Hill for an astronomical 17.5 billion won, which is roughly 12.9 million US dollars. And yes, you guessed it, he paid for the entire thing up front in a single, flawless cash transaction. Imagine the sheer liquidity required to drop almost $13 million in a single afternoon without even blinking. That is the terrifying reality of Kim Suk-jin's bank account. But how exactly does he generate this endless river of liquid wealth? Beyond the billions of dollars generated by BTS's group activities, Jin has proven to be an absolute monstrous force in the solo commercial market. We call it the Jin effect, a financial phenomenon so powerful that economists actively study it. Let's talk about Otogi's Jin Ramen. When the brand announced Suk-jin as their official ambassador, it wasn't just a successful marketing campaign, it was a financial explosion. Within a single quarter, Otogi's revenue violently spiked by 15%, generating a heart-stopping 630 million US dollars in sales, simply because Jin's face was on the packaging. Brands quickly realized that hiring Kim Suk-jin was essentially printing free money. This sparked a vicious, high-stakes bidding war among the world's most elite luxury conglomerates. In 2024, the legendary Italian fashion house Gucci triumphantly secured him as their global brand ambassador, followed swiftly by the ultra-premium French high jewelry house Fred and the high-end athleisure giant Alo Yoga. Every single time Jin is photographed wearing a $3,000 Louis Vuitton jacket, a $13,000 Cartier watch, or a simple Gucci blazer, it instantly sells out globally, crashing websites and forcing factories into emergency overdrive.
Furthermore, Jin is the only member of BTS to aggressively step into the brutal world of the food and beverage industry as a legitimate entrepreneur. He co-founded and successfully operates Osu Seiro Mushi, a highly exclusive, premium Japanese-style restaurant chain alongside his brother, generating massive daily profits from 2 prime locations in Seoul. Think about the emotional gravity of his trajectory. Here is a man who was once criticized for his dancing, who practiced in the shadows while everyone slept, transforming himself into a powerhouse performer whose vocal stability is now praised by the toughest music critics on the planet. This relentless pursuit of perfection didn't just earn him respect, it earned him generational wealth. Every single note he sings, every single brand he touches, and every single property he acquires turns to absolute gold. Consider his influence in the tech world. His ongoing partnerships and historical campaigns with global titans like Samsung have cemented his face in billions of households. His ability to seamlessly transition from an endearing, chaotic older brother on variety shows like Run Jin to a high-fashion, untouchable icon dripping in diamonds on the covers of Vogue and GQ is a marketing miracle that companies are willing to pay tens of millions of dollars to harness. Furthermore, his digital footprint is an unstoppable revenue machine. His self-produced tracks, his Spotify streams, and his YouTube royalties from viral phenomenon like Super Tuna are quietly funneling passive income into his accounts 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, regardless of whether he is awake, asleep, or performing for 80,000 screaming fans. But wait. We cannot possibly ignore the very foundation of his empire, his solo music. When Jin became the very first BTS member to complete his mandatory military service in June 2024, the world held its breath to see what he would do next, and he delivered a masterclass in global domination. He didn't just return, he conquered. His solo discography is a golden goose of infinite royalties. His breathtaking 2022 collaboration with Coldplay, The Astronaut, didn't just emotionally shatter the hearts of millions, it shattered massive industry records, rapidly becoming a certified million seller and dominating the Billboard Hot 100. He followed up his military discharge with the explosive release of 2 insanely successful extended plays, Happy in late 2024 and Echo in 2025, proving his unmatched longevity and commercial viability as a standalone megastar. But the true crown jewel of his recent solo endeavors was the historic 2025 Run Seokjin episode tour. He embarked on a massive sold-out global solo tour that violently grossed a staggering $46.1 million worldwide, cementing his status as one of the most bankable and powerful solo touring acts in K-pop history. From driving a humble minivan in 2013 to now having a garage boasting a breathtaking Porsche Panamera GTS and an aggressive beast-like Lamborghini Aventador S Roadster, Kim Seokjin's rise is a cinematic masterpiece of hard work, lethal business acumen, and undeniable talent. He is a philanthropist who donates quietly to UNICEF, a cash-buying real estate titan, a global fashion muse, and a record-breaking vocalist. Yet, as you stare in sheer disbelief at the overwhelming golden mountain of wealth that Jin has built, a terrifying realization must slowly creep into your mind. If a man who can casually drop $13 million in cash on a Tuesday, who generated over $500 million for a noodle company, and who grossed almost $50 million on a single solo tour, is sitting only at number 6, then who in the absolute name of sanity is occupying the top 5? What kind of unimaginable, world-altering, billionaire-level wealth are we about to uncover as we climb higher up this golden ladder? Are we about to encounter members who literally own entire tech companies, who hold the copyrights to hundreds of the most streamed songs in human history, or who are secretly building their own entertainment agencies? Take a deep breath, hold on to your sanity, and prepare yourself for an even more aggressive leap into the stratosphere of the ultra-rich, because you are definitely not ready for what comes next.
Number 5.
V. The visual emperor, the Cartier crown jewel, the king of sold out. Stepping right into the blinding diamond-studded spotlight at number 5 is the man with the most dangerously captivating gaze in the entire entertainment industry, the baritone-voiced maestro and the ultimate global it boy, Kim Tae-hung, universally known as V. To truly grasp the unbelievable, mind-boggling scale of Tae-young's estimated $55 million empire in the year 2026, we must take a deeply emotional trip back to his humble beginnings, which honestly sounds exactly like the plot of a heartwarming, dramatic coming-of-age movie. Born into a modest farming family in Daegu and raised in the quiet rural county of Gocheong, young Tae-hung never harbored grand dreams of global domination or suffocating wealth. His biggest childhood ambition was simply to become a farmer, to live a quiet, peaceful life tending to the land like his grandmother, whom he loved so dearly and respected above all else. Do you remember the legendary, almost mythical story of how he ended up in big hit entertainment? He didn't even go to the fiercely competitive auditions with the intention of trying out. He just went to support a friend, standing quietly in the back of the room, completely unaware of the devastating visual power and raw, untapped artistic talent he possessed. When an eagle-eyed casting director spotted him and practically begged him to audition on the spot, he famously had to call his dad from a public payphone just to get permission to sing. Imagine the sheer, terrifying twist of fate. That innocent farm boy who was kept completely hidden from the public as BTS's secret weapon until the very last agonizing moment before their official debut is now a ruthless, unstoppable financial juggernaut whose mere presence dictates global market trends and alters the world's economy. Let's aggressively break down the sheer, terrifying economic phenomenon known universally across corporate boardrooms as the V effect. When we talk about his brand endorsements, we aren't just talking about a celebrity taking pretty pictures holding a product. We are talking about moving billions of dollars in international trade. Let's look at his undisputed reign over the high-stakes, cutthroat world of European luxury. When Hedi Salim, the legendary and notoriously picky creative director of Celine, personally handpicked Tae-young to be his ultimate muse and the global ambassador for the brand, it completely rewired the fashion industry's hierarchy. Every single time V appeared at a Paris Fashion Week, the sheer volume of screaming fans and the unprecedented global media coverage effectively paralyzed the city's traffic, generating an astronomical earned media value that left Celine executives weeping tears of absolute joy as their quarterly sales violently skyrocketed. But he definitely didn't stop at high-end clothing. He violently conquered the elite high jewelry sector when he was crowned the global face of Cartier. Do you remember the sheer, absolute chaos when his very first Cartier campaign dropped? He wore the iconic, staggering $26,000 Panthère de Cartier necklace, and within literal minutes, not hours, not days, but mere minutes, the entire global inventory of that outrageously expensive piece completely sold out, physically crashing Cartier's international e-commerce servers and triggering an unprecedented emergency restock protocol from their Parisian headquarters. That is not just popularity, that is a terrifying level of consumer control that completely redefines modern capitalism. Let's also talk about his terrifying grip on the domestic market. When South Korea's massive mega franchise Compose Coffee announced him as their brand model to celebrate their 10th anniversary, the company saw an aggressive, unprecedented 72% spike in their mobile app users overnight, proving that his Midas touch works just as violently on everyday commodities as it does on luxury diamonds. Furthermore, we absolutely must address the colossal, undeniable goldmine that is his social media presence.
Kim Tae-hung holds multiple Guinness World Records for his Instagram account, reaching tens of millions of followers in record-breaking historic times. But it's not just about the numbers, it's about the devastating monetization of those numbers. In 2026, financial analysts and social media auditors rank V's personal Instagram account as one of the absolute most expensive digital billboards on planet Earth. A single casually posted sponsored photo or a fleeting 10-second story on his curated feed commands an unbelievable fee that easily surpasses the $1 million mark. Brands are literally begging, waitlisting, and fighting tooth and nail just to have his face associated with their products, because the return on investment is immediate, explosive, and absolute. But wait, beneath the glittering diamonds, the high-fashion couture, and the millions of likes lies the soul of a deeply passionate, fiercely independent musician who has built an absolute fortress of musical royalties. Let's talk about his historic solo debut album, Layover. He completely shattered the conventional high-energy K-pop mold, delivering a sultry, jazz-infused R&B masterpiece that defied all industry expectations and still violently smashed through the multi-million physical sales barrier worldwide. The critical acclaim was deafening, but the financial payout was even louder. Combine the massive streaming revenue from Layover with his continuous string of massively successful digital singles like Friends and his highly anticipated sophomore studio project, and you have a man who is generating millions in passive income every single month. Let's not forget his absolute dominance in the fiercely competitive original soundtrack market. His legendary tracks like Sweet Night for the massive drama Itaewon Class and Christmas Tree for Our Beloved Summer didn't just top the charts, they became immortalized streaming monsters that continued to pump relentless, heavy royalty checks into his bank account long after the television dramas have ended. And speaking of television, let's pivot to his undeniable sky-high value in the broadcasting world. Ever since his acclaimed acting debut in the historical drama Hwarang, producers and directors have been throwing blank checks at his agency, desperately trying to secure his talents. And his appearances on massive, unscripted variety shows like Ginny's Kitchen have proven that his mere presence guarantees record-breaking viewership ratings, allowing him to command the absolute highest appearance fees in the entire Korean entertainment industry. So what does a man with the golden touch do with this ever-expanding ocean of wealth? He anchors it in cold, hard, untouchable assets. Tae-hung is the proud owner of a sprawling, ultra-luxurious, deeply private, multi-million-dollar penthouse in the ultra-exclusive SK Applebaum complex in Gangnam, a fortress of solitude overlooking the Han River, which he purchased completely in cash. He drives the most elite luxury vehicles, curates an outrageously expensive collection of rare avant-garde contemporary art, and even his beloved Pomeranian Jeon lives a life of absolute luxury that most humans could only dream of. From a shy boy standing in the back of a dusty audition room to a Cartier-crashing, Celine-dominating, record-breaking global titan, Kim Tae-hung's rise to an estimated $55 million fortune is a story of raw charisma, undeniable talent, and lethal marketability. Yet, as you try to deeply process the absolute insanity of his wealth, the million-dollar Instagram posts and the sold-out diamond necklaces, a terrifying, spine-chilling question must violently echo in your mind. If the ultimate global it-boy, the man who literally holds the world's economy in the palm of his hands, is only sitting at number 5, who the hell is aggressively guarding the gates of the top 4? What kind of unimaginable, ruthless financial masterminds are we about to encounter? Are we about to meet the genius producers who secretly own half the music industry? Or the legendary performers who have built entertainment empires so vast they rival small countries? Prepare yourselves, wipe the sweat from your brow, and brace for absolute impact, because the multi-million-dollar stakes are about to get violently, dangerously higher.
Number 4. RM. the brains of the empire, the copyright king, the art mogul. Stepping into the incredibly prestigious, heavily intellectual, and wildly lucrative number 4 spot is the very foundation of BTS, the undisputed leader, the lyrical genius, and the towering intellectual powerhouse, Kim Namjoon, universally known and deeply respected as RM. To truly comprehend the absolute terrifying magnitude of RM's estimated $60 million empire in the year 2026, we have to strip away the glamorous red carpets, the presidential White House visits, and the historic United Nations speeches, and emotionally travel back to the gritty, dimly lit underground hip-hop clubs of Seoul. Before he was a global titan negotiating multi-million-dollar brand deals, he was just a fiercely intelligent, rebellious teenager rapping under the moniker Runch Randa, desperately trying to find his voice in a society that demanded conformity. Do you realize the excruciating, crushing psychological weight he had to carry as the very first member of BTS? He wasn't just another trainee, he was the absolute anchor, the sole reason Bang Si-hyuk even decided to create the group in the first place. Imagine being a teenager and having the entire financial survival of a struggling, virtually unknown entertainment agency resting squarely on your shoulders, constantly fighting against public ridicule, industry prejudice, and the grueling exhaustion of leading 6 different personalities to the very top of the world. That immense pressure forged RM into a ruthless, visionary businessman and an unparalleled creative force. Now, let's aggressively break down the terrifying, endless river of wealth that flows directly into his bank accounts, starting with his absolute crown jewel, his intellectual property. RM is a registered full member of the Korea Music Copyright Association, KOMCA, and this is where his financial dominance becomes truly frightening. He currently holds credits for well over 200 songs, making him one of the absolute youngest and most heavily credited artists in the entire history of South Korean music. But we are not just talking about album filler tracks. RM has written, composed, and produced some of the biggest, most historically successful pop anthems of the 21st century. Every single time Spring Day breaks another streaming record, every time Boy With Love is played in a cafe in Paris, every time Butter is used in a massive commercial campaign, and every time a radio station in Tokyo plays a BTS hit, a fraction of a cent is instantly deposited into Kim Namjoon's pocket. Multiply those fractions of a cent by tens of billions of global streams, physical album sales, YouTube views, and concert performances, and you have a terrifying, unstoppable passive income machine that literally prints millions of dollars while he is fast asleep. But his genius financial architecture doesn't stop at music royalties. RM has successfully positioned himself as the ultimate face of intellectual, quiet luxury. When the ultra-premium, notoriously exclusive Italian fashion house Bottega Veneta secured him as their global ambassador, it wasn't just a standard celebrity endorsement, it was a massive cultural alignment. He perfectly embodies their sophisticated, logoless high-art aesthetic, commanding absolutely astronomical endorsement fees that completely dwarf standard industry contracts. Furthermore, his solo musical endeavors have been massive commercial and critical victories. From his deeply philosophical 2022 masterpiece, Indigo, to his groundbreaking 2024 project, Right Place, Wrong Person, RM has proven his immense capability to sell millions of physical albums and dominate global charts completely on his own merit. So where exactly does a multi-millionaire intellectual prodigy park his staggering wealth? While other celebrities are aggressively buying fleets of depreciating sports cars, RM operates on a completely different, highly sophisticated financial wavelength. He is a bona fide, massively respected mogul in the international fine art world. This isn't just a simple hobby. This is a highly calculated, wildly lucrative art tech investment strategy. His private home is literally a museum-grade vault housing millions of dollars worth of contemporary and modern masterpieces.
We are talking about jaw-dropping investments like the $1.2 million translucent glass sculpture by American artist Roni Horn, casually sitting in his living room alongside incredibly rare, rapidly appreciating paintings by Jong Yong-ju, Lee Dae-won, Yoon Hyung-gun, and Park Dae-song. His sheer influence in the art market is so terrifyingly powerful that a single Instagram post of him visiting a gallery can instantly skyrocket an artist's valuation overnight, a phenomenon the art world has completely surrendered to. By early 2026, his massive personal collection even caught the attention of the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art, bridging the gap between pop culture icon and elite art patron. Beyond his massive canvas investments, RM also heavily anchored his wealth in cold, hard, premium real estate, famously purchasing a stunning, ultra-luxurious $5.3 million apartment in the heavily guarded, ultra-exclusive 9-1 Hanam complex, entirely in cash, without a single loan. Yet, despite holding the keys to this mind-bending $60 million financial fortress, RM remains incredibly grounded, famously donating hundreds of thousands of dollars to the National Museum of Modern and Contemporary Art, actively funding the preservation of ancient Korean cultural heritage, and proving that true leadership is about elevating your entire culture alongside your net worth. But as you sit there, completely paralyzed by the sheer genius of his copyright empire, his multi-million-dollar art investments, and his untouchable intellect, a terrifying, spine-tingling realization must wash over you. If the mastermind, the primary songwriter, and the absolute leader of the biggest musical act in human history is only sitting at number 4, then who in the absolute name of all that is holy has managed to amass even more wealth to conquer the top 3? What kind of unimaginable, ruthless financial strategies and global empires are we about to uncover? Are we about to encounter the underground producing genius who secretly commands the industry from the shadows, or the incredibly savvy dance captain who bought up entire city blocks in cash? Take a very deep breath, question everything you thought you knew about money, and brace yourselves for a financial impact that will literally shatter your reality, because the Elite Billionaires Club is about to get violently, unbelievably exclusive.
Number 3. Suga, the underground genius, the royalty titan, the architect of sound. Stepping into the heavily guarded, ultra-exclusive bronze podium at number 3 is the absolute architect of the BTS sound, the underground rap phenomenon, and the undisputed royalty king Min Yoongi, globally feared and respected as Suga, or his fiercely unapologetic alter ego, August D. To even begin to comprehend the mind-blowing, terrifying magnitude of Yoongi's estimated $65 million empire in 2026, you must emotionally travel back to the freezing, rain-soaked streets of Daegu. We're talking about a boy who literally had to choose between taking the bus home or eating a cheap bowl of noodles because he couldn't afford both. Do you remember the absolute heartbreak of his pre-debut days? He was a struggling underground beatmaker, working a brutal, low-paying part-time job as a delivery boy just to survive, which tragically led to a devastating motorcycle accident that completely shattered his shoulder. He hid the injury from his agency, terrified they would kick him out of the debut lineup, silently enduring excruciating physical pain while writing lyrics in a tiny, damp studio. He sold his genius beats for absolute pennies, often getting scammed by older producers just to keep his fragile dream alive. Fast forward to 2026, and that very same starving artist is now a ruthless, untouchable financial titan whose mere signature on a production contract guarantees a global chart-topping smash hit. Let us aggressively break down the terrifyingly vast financial machinery of Min Yoongi, starting with his absolute superpower, his untouchable producing royalties. Suga is not just a performer, he is a fully fledged, highly respected powerhouse member of the Korea Music Copyright Association, KOMCA, with well over 160 officially credited songs under his belt.
But here is the massive billion-dollar difference. Yoongi doesn't just produce for BTS. He is the most highly sought-after, aggressively demanded producer in the entire global music industry. When megastars want a guaranteed hit, they literally line up outside his studio. He has written, produced, and featured on massive historic tracks for absolute legends like Psy with the viral global phenomenon That, the beloved Korean digital monster IU with the emotionally devastating track 8, as well as huge international collaborations with Halsey, the late Juice WRLD, Max, and Epic High. Every single time any of these monumental tracks are streamed on Spotify, played in a Tokyo nightclub, blasted on American radio, or used in a massive TikTok trend, a heavy, lucrative royalty check is instantly wired directly into Yoongi's bank account. This isn't just a temporary income, it is an immortal, unstoppable, passive cash-generating machine that will literally pay him millions of dollars for the rest of his natural life. But let's violently pivot to the absolute game changer of his financial trajectory, the historic 2023-2024 August D-Day World Tour. When Yoongi embarked on his highly anticipated solo stadium and arena tour, it sent absolute shockwaves through the global touring industry. He completely sold out massive venues across the United States, Asia, and South Korea in mere seconds, generating a mind-bending, eye-watering gross revenue of well over $50 million. And here is the brutal, beautiful financial reality of a solo tour. Unlike a massive BTS group tour, where the staggering profits are heavily split 7 ways among the members in the agency, Yoongi took home the absolute lion's share of those astronomical tour earnings, injecting an unbelievable, unprecedented amount of liquid cash directly into his personal net worth in a single calendar year. But the wealth generation doesn't stop at music. Yoongi has brilliantly penetrated the high-stakes, highly exclusive worlds of luxury fashion and professional sports. When the ultra-luxurious, deeply sophisticated Italian fashion house Valentino aggressively secured him as their global brand ambassador, specifically hand-picking him to front their Maison Valentino Essentials campaign, it perfectly captured his quiet, tailored, and effortlessly expensive aesthetic, bringing in a massive multi-million-dollar endorsement paycheck that rivals seasoned Hollywood A-listers. But perhaps his most brilliant and personally fulfilling corporate alignment was becoming the official global ambassador for the National Basketball Association, NBA. As a lifelong, die-hard basketball fanatic, Yoongi essentially monetized his absolute favorite hobby, sitting courtside in massive NBA games in exclusive custom-tailored gear, bridging the multi-billion-dollar gap between global sports conglomerates and K-pop dominance. And what exactly does a quiet, introverted musical genius do with a staggering $65 million fortune? He completely monopolizes the luxury real estate market. In a move that absolutely stunned financial analysts, Yoongi casually dropped over 3.4 billion won, roughly $3 million at the time, completely in cold hard cash to purchase a sprawling, ultra-private luxury apartment in the heavily guarded UN village in the Hanam River Hill area. This hyper-exclusive gated community is famously dubbed the Beverly Hills of Seoul, serving as an impenetrable fortress for South Korea's absolute richest elites, offering breathtaking panoramic views of the Han River and absolute unbreakable privacy away from the flashing cameras. Furthermore, Yoongi is a certified stock market heavyweight. According to recent corporate data trackers, he has notoriously diamond-handed his HYBE Entertainment stocks, refusing to sell a single share of his originally gifted equity. In 2026, his personal stock portfolio alone is violently valued at an astronomical 21.4 billion won, proving that his long-term financial foresight is just as sharp, calculated, and lethal as his rapid-fire rap verses. Yet beneath the tailored Valentino suits, the cash-bought UN Village penthouses, and the millions of dollars in passive royalties, Yoongi remains an incredibly grounded, deeply empathetic individual who fiercely remembers his painful roots. He is notoriously famous for making massive, quiet $100,000 donations to childhood cancer research centers, pediatric hospitals, and devastating disaster relief funds, almost always perfectly timing these massive cash transfers exactly on his own birthday, proving that true wealth is ultimately measured by the suffering you can successfully alleviate. But as you desperately try to wrap your mind around the sheer, terrifying magnitude of Min Yoongi's $65 million royalty empire, his sold-out global solo tour, and his untouchable producer status, a chilling, absolutely terrifying realization must violently hit you. If the mastermind producer, the man who single-handedly commands the royalties of the biggest artists on Earth, is only sitting at number 3, who on Earth could possibly be wealthy enough to conquer the top 2? What kind of unimaginable, world-dominating, hyper-billionaire financial strategies are we about to witness? Are we about to encounter a member who literally bought up entire commercial districts, or the golden prodigy who broke every single music record known to human history? Brace yourselves, grab a glass of water, and prepare for a financial revelation that will leave you absolutely speechless, because the ultimate battle for the crown is about to fiercely begin.
Number 2. J-Hope, the dance commander, the real estate pioneer, the sunshine billionaire. We are stepping into the fiercely competitive, aggressively wealthy number 2 spot with the absolute dance commander of BTS, the unparalleled stage presence, and the man who seamlessly blends street credibility with ultra luxury, Jungkook, universally loved and feared on the dance floor as J-Hope. To truly, deeply understand the astronomical, mind-bending scale of J-Hope's estimated $75 million empire in the year 2026, we have to strip away the dazzling Louis Vuitton suits and the million-dollar smiles and emotionally travel back to the gritty, highly competitive underground street dance battles of Gwangju. We are talking about a young, fiercely determined kid named Smile Hoya who danced for a local street crew called Neuron. He didn't come from generational wealth. He built his foundation on calluses, bruised knees, and absolute sheer willpower. Do you remember the heart-wrenching, agonizing stories from their pre-debut days when Hosak actually left the BTS lineup? The physical and emotional exhaustion of the idol trainee system broke him down so severely that he packed his bags to go home, leaving Jungkook crying uncontrollably and prompting RM to fiercely beg the agency to bring him back because the group simply could not survive without his rhythmic genius. That monumental return wasn't just a victory for BTS, it was the birth of a terrifyingly savvy, ruthlessly brilliant financial tycoon. Let's aggressively break down the jaw-dropping architecture of J-Hope's immense wealth, starting with his absolute, undisputed superpower, his visionary real estate portfolio. While other celebrities were out buying depreciating luxury cars or throwing wild parties, Jungkook was quietly, systematically dominating the highest tiers of the Seoul real estate market with a level of financial foresight that actual Wall Street investors would envy. He was the very first member of BTS to aggressively buy premium property, famously securing a massive, ultra-luxurious unit in the highly coveted Seoul Forest Trimmage Complex way back in 2016. But he didn't stop there. When he realized the skyrocketing value of the location, he ruthlessly doubled down and bought a second, even larger unit in the same complex for a staggering 3.7 billion won.
By 2025, he strategically sold one of those trimmage units just to optimize his taxes, instantly pocketing a massive multi-million-dollar cash profit like it was absolute pocket change. But his real estate dominance didn't peak there. It violently escalated. In a move that sent absolute shockwaves through the elite Korean economic sector, J-Hope casually dropped roughly 12 billion won, which is nearly 8.6 million US dollars, completely in cold, hard, untraceable cash to purchase a staggering multi-level duplex penthouse in the ultra-exclusive Offer Hangang complex in Yongsan. And just because he could, he bought another massive unit on a lower floor of the exact same building for another 10 billion won. We are talking about a man who holds nearly 30 million US dollars in pure liquid real estate assets alone, completely mortgage-free, staring down at the Han River from multiple untouchable glass fortresses. But how exactly does a former street dancer generate this endless, aggressive tsunami of liquid cash? The answer lies in his terrifyingly prolific musical copyright empire and his monumental solo success. As a fully registered powerhouse member of the Korea Music Copyright Association, or KOMCA, Hoseok holds writing and producing credits on well over 130 tracks. Every single time a BTS stadium anthem blasts through massive speakers in London, Tokyo, or New York, a heavy, lucrative royalty check is violently wired into his accounts. But his true financial explosion came from his critically acclaimed, aggressively successful solo endeavors. When he dropped his groundbreaking debut mixtape Hope World in 2018, it didn't just break charting records, it established him as a highly bankable standalone artist. Then came the absolute cultural and financial earthquake of 2022, Jack in the Box. This dark, grunge-infused masterpiece shattered his sunshine persona and proved his terrifying artistic duality, driving massive global streaming revenues. This culminated in his historic, legendary performance at Lollapalooza in Chicago, universally dubbed Hopepalooza, where he became the very first South Korean artist in human history to headline a major U.S. music festival. The astronomical merchandise sales, the exclusive streaming rights, and the massive appearance fees from that single night alone injected millions of dollars directly into his personal net worth. Furthermore, his highly successful 2024 docuseries and accompanying soundtrack, Hope on the Street, secured massive global syndication rights on major streaming platforms like Prime Video, proving that his personal life story is quite literally worth its weight in solid gold. But let's violently pivot to the high-stakes, ruthless world of European luxury, because this is where J-Hope truly flexes his undeniable global influence. When the legendary French luxury maison Louis Vuitton aggressively sought out a new face to represent their brand, they didn't just want a model, they wanted a global movement. They triumphantly appointed Jung Ho-sok as their official house ambassador, a multi-million-dollar corporate marriage that completely rewired the fashion industry. Whether he's performing in custom, bespoke, all-white Louis Vuitton suits at the Grammy Awards or breaking the internet wearing an abstract patchwork masterpiece at the Paris menswear shows, his mere association with the brand drives terrifying, unprecedented spikes in their global quarterly sales. He is a walking, breathing, high-fashion billboard whose endorsement commands fees that easily rival the biggest Hollywood A-listers on the planet. And let's not forget his massive, diamond-handed portfolio of HYBE equity. As one of the original shareholders, the exponential growth of his stock options alone is enough to secure his wealth for 10 lifetimes. Yet, despite possessing this mind-bending $75 million financial fortress, the penthouses bought in cash, and the Louis Vuitton ambassadorships, J-Hope remains an incredibly grounded, fiercely empathetic individual who channels his massive wealth back into the universe. He is universally known as one of the most aggressive and consistent philanthropists in the Korean entertainment industry, quietly dropping hundreds of thousands of dollars year after year to support children with disabilities, education funds in his hometown of Gwangju, and international disaster relief efforts, proving time and time again that the brightest sunshine often comes from the deepest, most genuine pockets. But as you desperately try to wrap your mind around the sheer, terrifying reality of Jung Ho-sak's $75 million empire, his 4 cash-bought luxury apartments, his historic Lollapalooza headline, and his Louis Vuitton dominance, an absolutely chilling, spine-tingling question must violently echo in your head. If the man who practically owns the Seoul skyline and single-handedly carried a U.S. music festival is only sitting at number 2, then who in the absolute name of financial insanity is occupying the number 1 spot? What kind of unimaginable, world-dominating, hyper-billionaire wealth are we about to uncover? Are we about to encounter an artist who literally broke every single global music record in existence and prints money faster than a central bank? Take a very deep breath, prepare your sanity, and brace yourselves for the final earth-shattering revelation, because the number 1 spot is about to blow everything you thought you knew completely out of the water.
Number 1. Jungkook. The Golden Emperor, the pop giant, the absolute ruler of wealth, stepping onto the highest, most blindingly radiant diamond pedestal at the absolute undisputed number 1 spot is the youngest brother of the group, the unparalleled center, and the global pop titan who literally turns everything he touches into solid, unadulterated gold, Jungkook. To truly comprehend the terrifying absolute magnitude of Jungkook's staggering estimated $90 million empire in the year 2026, we must take a deeply emotional, tear-jerking journey back to the very beginning. Picture a shy, wide-eyed 15-year-old boy from Busan who auditioned for the talent show Superstar K3. He was painfully introverted, barely able to speak up, and was ultimately eliminated from the competition. However, his raw, undeniable potential triggered an absolute frenzy in the K-pop industry, leading to 7 different major entertainment agencies aggressively scouting him. But what did this young prodigy do? He rejected the massive, established companies and chose a struggling, virtually unknown agency simply because he saw RM rapping and thought he looked incredibly cool. Do you remember the heartbreaking stories from those early dorm days? The sheer emotional toll of leaving his family at such a young age meant that Jungkook would secretly wait until all the older members had fallen asleep just so he could take a shower and cry alone because he missed his mother so desperately. That fragile, terrified teenager has now aggressively transformed into the most lethal, heavily demanded, and overwhelmingly wealthy pop star on the face of the planet. Let us violently break down the sheer terrifying economic phenomenon of the Golden Magne, starting with his absolute domination of the global music industry. When Jungkook officially launched his solo career, he didn't just break records, he completely obliterated them from the history books. His explosive solo debut single, 7, featuring Lotto, became a terrifying cultural earthquake, officially breaking the Guinness World Record as the fastest song in human history to reach 1 billion streams on Spotify. The sheer velocity of those streaming numbers generated an astronomical, endless river of royalties that flooded into his bank accounts day and night. He didn't stop there. He unleashed 3D and the Michael Jackson-esque masterpiece Standing Next to You, proving his terrifying versatility. He aggressively followed this up with his monumental, critically acclaimed, entirely English debut studio album, Golden. This wasn't just a K-pop album, this was a global pop manifesto that aggressively shattered physical sales records, selling millions of copies worldwide in its very first week and cementing him as the true, undisputed successor to the global pop kings of the past. Let's not forget his historic moment at the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar, where he performed his massive anthem, Dreamers, in front of billions of viewers globally, instantly securing his status as a standalone megastar, capable of carrying the world's biggest sporting event on his shoulders. The massive record-breaking digital downloads, physical album distributions, and unprecedented global radio play transformed him into a one-man multinational corporation. But music is only one half of his terrifying financial architecture. Let's pivot to the ruthless, high-stakes world of global fashion, where Jungkook executed one of the most brilliant, lucrative corporate takeovers in modern history. When the iconic American lifestyle brand Calvin Klein aggressively secured him as their global brand ambassador, it wasn't just a successful marketing campaign, it was a financial rescue mission. Within mere minutes of his first campaign dropping, the entire global inventory of the denim and underwear he modeled was completely wiped out, violently crashing Calvin Klein's international e-commerce servers. The financial impact was so devastatingly powerful that PVH Corp., the parent company of Calvin Klein, witnessed a staggering immediate 20% spike in their stock prices, generating a reported $30.4 million in sheer financial impact in just a matter of days. He essentially saved the brand's quarter and redefined modern global masculinity, proving that his undeniable visual power translates directly into hundreds of millions of corporate dollars. This unprecedented historic impact allowed him to command endorsement fees that completely dwarf standard industry contracts, making him one of the highest-paid celebrity ambassadors in the world. Furthermore, the terrifying Jungkook effect works on absolutely everything. He has accidentally sold out fabric softeners, lip balms, and even a specific brand of kombucha just by casually drinking it on a live stream, violently forcing entire factories into emergency production overdrive just to meet the insane global demand. So what exactly does a man with an endlessly regenerating $90 million fortune do with his cash? He executes the ultimate terrifying real estate flex. In a move that sent absolute shockwaves through the elite South Korean property market, Jungkook casually purchased a massive detached property in the hyper-exclusive, heavily guarded neighborhood of Itaewon for a staggering 7.6 billion won, roughly $6 million at the time, completely in cold, hard, untraceable cash. But he didn't just move in, he completely demolished the existing structure to build a staggering, custom-designed 5-story mega mansion from the ground up, creating an impenetrable, ultra-luxurious fortress fit only for an emperor. He also boasts a jaw-dropping collection of ultra-premium vehicles, famously cruising around Seoul in a massive, aggressive Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon. Yet, despite holding the absolute keys to the world, possessing a $90 million financial fortress, crashing the global stock market with his underwear campaigns, and building 5-story mansions in pure cash, Jungkook remains famously, almost frustratingly humble and incredibly grounded. This is the exact same billionaire who will casually log on to Weavers at 3 in the morning, entirely barefaced, just to fold his laundry, cook a massive bowl of makgutsu, and sing karaoke for 4 straight hours with millions of fans, as if he were just a regular guy hanging out in his bedroom. His ability to seamlessly balance the terrifying reality of being the most powerful pop star on earth with the endearing, genuine personality of the boy from Busan is exactly why his empire will only continue to aggressively multiply. And there you have it, the absolute undisputed king of the top 7 BTS wealth ranking for 2026, the golden maknae who conquered the universe.
And there you have it, the absolute mind-blowing, jaw-dropping conclusion to our 2026 BTS wealth ranking. We have violently scaled the dizzying heights of the elite billionaire mountain, dissected the terrifying power of luxury fashion ambassadorships, and witnessed the sheer, unadulterated financial dominance of 7 men who literally rewrote the entire history of the global music industry. When you sit back and truly,
deeply reflect on this terrifying amount of wealth, it is almost impossible to reconcile these multi-million-dollar cash purchases, the custom-built Itaewon mega mansions, the limitless black credit cards, and the global corporate takeovers with the 7 completely exhausted, starving, and fiercely desperate boys who debuted back in 2013 in a basement studio so small they could barely stretch their arms. Do you remember when they had to hand out flyers on the scorching streets of Los Angeles just to beg people to come to their free concert? Do you remember the sheer panic of their agency almost going bankrupt, or the absolute terror of not knowing if they would ever even win a single music show award? Look at them now. They didn't just survive the brutal, ruthless, deeply prejudiced machinery of the idol industry. They completely shattered it, rebuilt it in their own glorious image, and crowned themselves the absolute, undisputed kings of the 21st century. From Jimin's historic Billboard domination and Dior royalty checks to Yoonjin's cash-bought Hanam penthouses and global Gucci campaigns, from Taeyoung's visual-crashing Cartier to RM's terrifyingly vast Komka copyright empire and elite art collections, from Yoongi's legendary producing masterclasses and sold-out stadium solo tours to J-Hope's aggressive real estate monopolies and historic Lollapalooza headline, all the way to the absolute peak with our golden maknae, Jungkook, single-handedly saving Calvin Klein's stock prices and crushing Spotify records like they are nothing. But here is the absolute most beautiful, emotionally devastating truth about the jaw-dropping wealth of Bangtan Sonyeondan. Despite the $90 million bank accounts, the fleets of custom Mercedes-Benz G-Wagons, the diamond-encrusted watches, and the absolute global dominance, they are still just 7 deeply connected, relentlessly humble brothers who love their fans more than anything in the world. They still bicker over ramen, they still cry when they hear you singing back to them, and they still bow exactly at 90 degrees to every single staff member they meet. So, the next time you are sitting comfortably on your couch, maybe treating yourself to a delicious cold bowl of your favorite ice cream and listening to Spring Day or watching a classic Run BTS episode, just remember that you are witnessing the greatest underdog story ever told in human history. They started with absolutely nothing but a dream, and today they own the absolute world. But what do you guys think? Did this insane 2026 wealth ranking completely blow your mind, or did you already know your bias was a secret financial mastermind? Do you think the financial hierarchy will violently shift again by the time we hit 2030, or will the golden maknae rule the throne forever? Drop your wildest theories, your absolute favorite BTS moments, and your own personal biases down in the comments section below, because we read every single one of them. Don't forget to absolutely smash that like button, brutally hit that subscribe button, and fiercely ring that notification bell so you never miss another deep dive into the crazy, unimaginable lives of your favorite global icons. Until next time, stay golden, stay curious, and always remember to love yourself.